Part 3. In my last video, I talked about how our thoughts and beliefs can affect our lives, and I showed you a technique to baby step your way from not believing to believing what you want to believe. Now in part 3, I would like to talk about that in further detail, but I want to go in detail about competing beliefs or thoughts and how that can derail where you're going. So I have lots of examples of this, but the one I want to use involves relationships, and so I'm gonna create a little story so we can walk you through how this works. Alright, we're gonna give our characters some names. So let's call the girl Wanda and the boy Terry. Alright, setting the scene. Wanda's 25. She's had a good life. She grew up in a decent neighborhood. She did get bullied a little bit, and her parents didn't always say that they loved her. And Terry, he's a narcissist, but he grew up in a good family, in a good town, in a good neighborhood, and he went on to join some sort of like military or police thing. Okay, that's what you need to know. Now, where do competing beliefs come in? All right, well, in anything, really. Any belief that you have will show up to you. So, for example, let's say like you believe that people are generally good. So, that is what you will see. It's kind of like confirmation bias, but it's not that. Okay, so let's dig deep for a second and consider what a belief is. I've kind of touched on this before. It's not just like what we're told, like the water comes from the clouds, like stuff that we see with our eyes that's really easy to believe. I'm talking about the beliefs that you have deep within yourself, like about yourself. So, I'm a good person. I always receive good gifts. Like, I don't know, whatever you believe about yourself. So, going back to this relationship, if she wants him to propose one day, right? Why would she want to marry him? We're gonna just let her learn her lesson the hard way, okay? So, she wants him to propose, but he behaves like a narcissist, so he's a douchebag, okay? Now, she has competing beliefs. One, this is why she stays with him. She wants to marry somebody, and she has her sights set on him. She doesn't love herself, so she doesn't understand that he's not good for her. So we'll ignore that for now. She wants to get married, so she is holding out for him to propose, right? But then there's this like other thing that says he doesn't actually treat me good, so maybe I don't want to marry him. So these two things go back and forth, and so they have this back and forth in their relationship where when she has her power, she's telling him no, and he's fighting back, and they're toxic. So then she lowers her power, and he feels like he has control over her again. That's what this is all about. It's all about control. So they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then her thoughts are like, well, I just don't know, like, why he does this, or why he hasn't done this, or why. The main track playing over and over is, I don't know. Stop there. You do know. You do know. That's number one. Everybody, please stop saying, I don't know. Because even if you don't know in this very moment, everything is always happening. So if you want to get to the timeline where you do know, you have to tell yourself right now, I do know. We'll go into that in another part, okay? So back to Wendy and her fuck-ass boyfriend Terry, the narcissist, who she still wants to marry because she doesn't love herself. She doesn't understand that he's not good for her. So how does she get a result, any result, besides being stuck in this limbo? Well, she has to decide once and for all what she wants to focus on. Does she want to focus on getting married, Or does she want to focus on putting herself first? That's what it boils down to. And like I tell these girls, yes, you can make these relationships work, but you're going to put yourself through hell to do it. And is that worth it? I mean, you can live your life however you want, and everything that happens to us is for a purpose. It doesn't happen to us. It happens for us so we can grow into the people we're meant to be, which AKA is who we were born as. And so really we're not growing into anything. We're forgetting what was given to us by other people. So like their erroneous beliefs and thoughts. Like money's a big one. Lack mentality is another big one. There's so many. Let's see. Racism, sexuality. There's a lot of things. Anyway, my point is, you have to get focused on your goal, or you're never gonna achieve anything. That's what I'm meaning. What you have to do is get one goal. You can have a lot of goals, but you need to get one that's the main goal, and then everything else after that needs to align to the main goal. So, I want to get married, but let's not forget, I also want to be treated like a good person, like a decent person. So, maybe if we can't make that first, we'll at least make that align to, I'd like to be married one day. So then, your thought isn't just like to be married one day. Your thought is, I'd like to be married to a good man one day. And then you keep going. Everything you want, you align it to that thought and you build on that thought sentence. Your top belief is the one that rules everything. So if you believe that you're not worthy, or if you believe you have to suffer in life, or you believe everything has to be hard, or if you're always saying, I don't know, like, you're reinforcing negativity into your life, and you have to stop that. You have to, like, literally in the moment, stop yourself and say, like, whoa, we don't think like that anymore. And this can be internal dialogue, but you have to stop yourself in the moment and say, like, okay, I'm going to allow you to feel this way for a second, but work with me. I don't feel that way anymore. And you have to train your body into this new vibration. So if you go back to my first video, everything's a vibration. So whatever you're resonating with is where you're vibrating, and that's what shows up into your life. So every single thing that has ever happened to you and that ever will happen to you is a result of your vibration. Now some people might say, but children get kidnapped and murdered and raped. That's true. And I don't think that those things are good. But I don't know how God works. And this is all God's construct, and it's too complex for us to understand. So, back to the topic. Your beliefs, get one, make everything else align to it. Because if you have competing beliefs, you're going to have a lot of back and forth in your life. It'll show up. I'm sure you have plenty of examples or you can think of where things go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So, you have to like reinforce within yourself these beliefs. So go back to the other video if you want to see like how to baby step your way into solidifying the belief within yourself. Oh, and a good example of this is Inside Out, like her stations that she has that make up who she is, and like when they fall over, it's like creating a new girl. So that's kind of like what this is about. But I think one thing to focus on is better, but if you want to try to have a few, you could do that. I can't tell you what to do. But we're coming up on 10 minutes, and that's it. Part whatever coming up soon.